Hi, in today's video we are going to study about regression. We will look into two different regression techniques, that is simple linear regression and multiple linear regression. Followed by we will also look into detailed non-linear regression or simply polynomial regression. We will also see the details working of logistic regression function or logistic regression method, which is from name itself is saying regression but actually used for classification. Let us start with the simple definition of regression. So regression is a statistical procedure which determines the equation of a line that fits given specific set of data. So in regression kind of problem, we are basically given some data points in some dimensional space and we are here expected to fit a particular line that best fits or which covers most of the data points given in a n-dimensional space. Here, while we are talking about one-dimensional data over which we have only one input that is represented over x-axis and output which is represented over y-axis, we represent equation of a line which is nothing but equivalent to fitting a regression model. And that can be done with the help of by drawing a one line, and that line can be represented with formula y is equal to bx plus a, where b is nothing but slope of a line and a is nothing but an intercept. So while looking in a graph, if we draw some particular line, let that line be y is equal to a plus bx or bx plus a, whatever. In that component, b is nothing but an angle that is formed by drawing one parallel line to x-axis at the intercept of y. Y-intercept is nothing but a line intercepting y-axis when x is equals to 0. That means over this vertical axis, wherever this line is hitting, that particular distance is called as a. So here we have two different things. We can find slope of a particular line and intercept of line, and with which we can determine an equation of line. Now, over this equation of line, whatever input variable is, that variable x is called as independent variable, which determines the value of dependent variable, which is nothing but variable y. Now, how do we say a particular fitted line is good or not? Now, for that reason, we have something called as calculation of residual. Now, this residual will calculate how well your line is fitting to data points, and it is being represented or shown by a particular straight line. So here we actually calculate the distance between data points to the line, that is called as residual. Now, this difference from actual data point to the line is called as summation, is called as total error between the data points and the line, and that can be obtained by either squaring the terms, or we can take absolute of these differences and sum them. So while we sum them by squaring is called as sum of squared error. Say for example here, now let me show you here. Say for example, this blue y dash is equal to x plus 4 is a line and given points are these. Now here as you can see, data points are fitted very well over the line. So the difference between actual y value and y dash value or y cap value is almost 0. The summation of all these points, for all these points, the summation equates to 0. But this will not be the case in every time. Here our data point might be at different place and the fitted line is at some a different equation. So this value is actually called as y, and this particular value which is being projected over fitted line is called as y cap. Similarly, this is y for second point and this is y cap for second point. Likewise, this is y and this is y cap. Here also these are the y values and the projected values over the line is called as y cap. Okay, so the difference between y and y cap or y bar, the summation over all I points, that means total number of points are there, for each we will calculate the difference, and that summation is called as sum of squared errors, or that is also called as sum of residuals. Now these values or this summation has to be minimum in order to make this line as good. Say for example, if we have this particular line, so the difference of distance from each of this point would be greater than as compared to this particular line. So always we measure the performance of regression linear type by designating or producing the minimum value for sum of squared error. That will be our goal. Now, how to calculate y cap value, or how to create or find out the best fitted line. So, line that is being fitted is called as y cap or y dash is equal to bx plus a, where b is sp by ss x, where sp is nothing but sum of product and ss is nothing but sum of squares. Now, how to calculate intercept? So, intercept is calculated with formula mean of y minus b, which is being calculated with this formula, into m of x, which is nothing but mean over x-axis. The value that is used for calculating b is nothing but sum of product. Sum of product is nothing but x value minus x bar into y value minus y bar. So basically we have one term, another term, and their product is calculated. And this product is summed over all different points. That's why it is called as sum of product term. Likewise, over here we have sum of squares. That means the difference between x and x dash or x bar square is summed over I different points. Hence, we represent this equation also as covariance of xy, and denominator is also represented or called as variance of x. So, both of the things, whether we write this formula, or this formula, one and the same thing. So let us move ahead and take one example and see how to fit a particular line or a regression model to our given simple linear model. So simple linear model, we have x and y, where x is independent variable and y is our dependent variable, or I would call it as output variable. Now, using a method that is called as ordinary least square. Now, this ordinary least square algorithm will take same followed steps. That means first step we will calculate x bar and y bar, that is nothing but mean of x. So, mean of x is calculated by summing all those values divided by number of samples, that is nothing but 19.9 mean of x is calculated. Similarly, we will calculate mean of y, that is y bar is calculated. Here y bar is 56.8. Now, after calculating this, we will calculate x minus mean of x. This is equivalent to x minus x bar. And individual value of x, we will take difference with 19.9, and that difference individually will be taken and written over here. Now, this is once calculated. Similarly, we will calculate y minus y bar. So our step number 2 is to calculate errors of x and y, that is respectively x minus x bar and y minus y bar. Once they are calculated, we are having a term x minus x bar, y minus y bar. We will take product of these two terms. So we will take product of these two columns and we will produce third step, that is x minus x bar into y minus y bar. So this is our third step, that is to get a product. Now we will sum this product, and that will call it as sum of product, or our numerator term SP will be called as. Now, summation of this product is summation of x minus x bar into y minus y bar, that is SP, is calculated and kept aside. Now, we already have x minus x bar, we will take its square. So, this particular column is x minus x bar square, and hence we will take square of individual values, and at the end we will take sum. That is called as square of sum, and that is being calculated and substituted here. So, this is called as SS of x. We have SS of x in this step, and we have sum of product SP in this step. So we will divide output of this, that is SP divided by SS of x, that is nothing but is formula to calculate our B. Now using this B, we will calculate A. Now A is calculated as y bar minus B into x bar. So that is the formula for A, or I would call it as my minus B into mx. So mean of x is multiplied with B. That is what how we calculate or how we fit a line. So as you can see, x bar or summation of all x values is 299, sum of y values is 852. Similarly, we have calculated mean of x and y, that is mx and my respectively. Sum of squares comes out to be 226.93, and sum of product is calculated as 429.8. So we will calculate b as sp divided by ss of x, and that turns out to be 1.89395. We can approximate it up to 2 or 3 decimal places, that is 189, say for example. And using this value of b, we can calculate value of a. Hence, we have calculated value of a is 19.0473. We can approximate this value also up to 2 or 3 decimal places as per the requirement. So this is how the calculation of y dash is being calculated. So basically, we have a value of y dash. This y dash or estimated value is nothing but equation of a line plus some error, or we will call it as residual. This residual is nothing but value of y, that is an actual value, or this particular value plus estimated one, this one. So summation of random error or error term is always present in estimating value of y dash. So this has to be get fixed very clearly so that the random error should be minimized as much as possible. Now let us understand what are the different method for fitting a line inside a particular method. So basically here we are actually referring to simple linear regression. Okay, so since it is simple linear regression, we have simple means we have only one input or one independent variable. That's why it is called as simple. Linear means we have a straight line, and regression is nothing but fitting a particular model to predict some values. So let us see how to fit a particular model into some set of data points given. So for that reason, we first need to understand the equation of line that we have already done. Say for example, this is my line, and this line is represented as y is equal to 2x plus 3. For example, this is the equation of line. So slope here is nothing but 2 and intercept of y is nothing but 3. And we have to take this line so that this get fitted to this particular given point. Now, in order to fit a line to this point, we must rotate this particular line anti-clockwise. Now, what do we mean by rotating a line anti-clockwise? If I draw a line which is parallel to x-axis, so this theta is nothing but our slope. Okay, now if I want to take or rotate this line anti-clockwise, I am interested in increasing this theta value. So while we are rotating a particular line, say y is equal to 2x plus 3, we are actually changing its slope. And if it is getting rotated anti-clockwise, we are increasing its slope. So we are adding some slope to our existing slope so that this line will get closer to this particular point. Okay, now one thing we can do is to move this line upward, and second thing we can translate this lines. That means we will take this line up to this way. Okay, so y-intercept is going to get changed. As you can see, y-intercept is also getting changed. That means here, if we have to move line anti-clockwise and if we have to take our line up, that means we are changing or we are incrementing or taking some positive slope intercept. Okay, so we are increasing our slope as well as we are increasing our intercept in case when we have this kind of point. Now let us understand another kind of point. Say for example, we have this point which is in second quadrant, and we have seen this line, we are starting with the same line, y is equal to 2x plus 3, and we want to take our line near to this particular point. So what do? We actually need to rotate our line clockwise. So while rotating a line clockwise, so that this particular end will get come closer to this particular point. So what do? We have to decrement this theta because we are rotating line anti-clockwise. So while our data or data point or a sample is in second quadrant, we have to rotate line clockwise, and to rotate clockwise we have to take decrement or negative of some slope than its previous value. So instead of 2, we can have 1.5 or 1.8 or 1 or zero point 0.5, whatever. But we have to decrement our slope. That is the one thing that is guaranteed. Likewise, if we will rotate this line in this way, it's still not close to our point. We have to take this line more upside. That means the y-intercept is going to also get changed. So rotation is not only enough, we have to take this line more upside. So taking up more, that is nothing but increment. We have to increment our y-intercept. So intercept is also going to increase. So you have to see that if point is above the line, we have to always increment intercept, whether in this quadrant or in this quadrant. Y-intercept is going to get increased. But if it is in first quadrant, we have to increase our slope. But if it is in second quadrant, we have to decrement our slope. So as I said, if point is in first quadrant, we have to take positive of slope. So whatever the previous slope is, we have to add some component in slope. So what that component is going to get added is called as learning rate. Okay, so we have something called as learning rate has to get added inside slope. And since this point is above the line, we also have to add y-intercept. So we have to add learning rate in a y-intercept. So both things must be added. Slope must be added by learning rate and y-intercept must get added at this location by learning rate. If point is in second quadrant, we have to decrement our slope since we are rotating this line clockwise, so that we have to take lesser slope. By how many rate? By rate of learning rate. And in this case, we have to take positive intercept. Let us look for this particular point. If this point is there, we have to take or rotate our line anti-clockwise. So whenever the word anti-clockwise rotation comes in, so we have to increment or add our slope to previous slope by how much time? By learning rate time. And when we have to rotate this line and we have to also take it downward. So this is getting shifted down. That means we have to decrement our y-intercept. Okay, so while working with fourth quadrant point, if we have to take this line, we have to rotate it anti-clockwise. So we have to take negative of slope in how much rate? That rate is nothing but learning rate. And at this time, we have to take our line more towards the downside. That means we also need to take negative or we have to decrement our y-intercept. Okay, so remember these signs in first quadrant, slope and intercept both increases. In fourth quadrant, slope and intercept both decreases. Over the second quadrant, only slope decreases and intercept increases. And here we, in third quadrant, slope increases and intercept decreases. So we have two rules, that is we can change or we can transform our line anti-clockwise or clockwise. Whenever we are rotating anti-clockwise, our slope is getting positive or we are having adding some slope. And we are rotating every time clockwise, we have to decrement our slope. Now, talking about transforming, that is moving this line up or down. So for these two set of points, we always need to take line up. That means if we want to move our line up, we have to add some intercept, y-intercept. And if we want to take this particular line down, that means moving line towards down or downside, we have to decrement y-intercept. So using only these four set of rules, we have these four formulas. That is learning rate, slope is incremented and intercept is incremented. By learning rate, slope is decremented and y-intercept is incremented. So what do? We will write one simplified algorithm. Let us look into the detail what is that algorithm. So here, before we write algorithm, let me show you four different cases. That is, point is here, or point is here, point in third quadrant, and point in fourth quadrant. If it is in second quadrant, we have to decrement slope and we have to add intercept. If it is in third quadrant, we have to add slope but we have to decrement intercept. And if it is in fourth quadrant, we have to decrement slope as well as we have to decrement y-intercept. So these are the four simple rules. So what do? We say, for example, here we are given some data points, for example, like this. And this is our random line y is equal to 2x plus 3. And we have to fit this particular line to this some set of data points. Now in this case, I need to move this line to fit this data point. So we will start with any random line which is having its equation as mx plus b. So starting with a random line, we will pick number of repetitions or number of epochs. That means that number of epochs is nothing but randomly selecting any data point from a given set of data. So say for example, we have n points or n samples in data. This epoch has to be very larger than n. Say for example, we have only 50 points in sample. So I can set its epoch value or number of repetitions as 1000 times. Next step is nothing but a learning rate. Now remember, learning rate has to be very small. So because if learning rate is very large, we will not have a good fitting line. So always keep in mind that learning rate has to be taken as small number. Say for example, I choose learning rate to be 0.01. For example, you can choose 0.02 or 0.001 or whatever value, but make sure it is small enough so that our steps will be smaller towards our data points. Now we have to repeat some set of steps. That means we have to change our m, that is nothing but slope, and we have to change our b, which is nothing but y-intercept. So we have to change slope and y-intercept according to the position of data point that is being selected randomly. So here we are repeating these steps epochs time. That means these number of steps are going to get repeated 1000 times if we have selected our epochs as 1000. Now every time what will happen, one random point is picked up. Say for example, this point is first time picked up and this point will be referenced by this line to get closer to this point. And second time this point will be, say for example, be referenced by line. Say for example, line is moved here and this point will be referenced and line will be taken more closer to. Next time another point will be referenced and line will be taken to this point. Next time this point will be taken into closer and line will be moved to this point. So we have to move our line slowly towards each and every data points that is being considered. So every time a random data point from a data set will be considered, hence we will repeating or we are changing slope and intercept that many times. Slope is changed as m is equal to m plus some value. So we know that slope as well as our y-intercept must get changed by learning rate time only. But learning rate is 0.01. Every time we are not always interested in incrementing our m, that is nothing but slope, and always not interested in incrementing our y-intercept, that is b. So we here need to have some sign. Now that sign is nothing but a distance that we will calculate. So we have two kind of distance, that is called as horizontal distance and we have something called as vertical distance. Now horizontal distance is calculated right from y-axis, whether point is towards the right or not. So from this point to this point, our distance is positive, but from green point to this red point, our distance is negative. So from our y-axis, if point is towards the right, our horizontal distance is positive. Hence, I will say this learning rate into horizontal distance, that whether it can be positive or negative. So look in this case, here again from our y-axis, if I measure the distance, so that distance is going towards the left, that means this distance, horizontal distance would be negative. So whenever this distance is negative, my slope will be decremented. Hence, I am multiplying my learning rate with horizontal distance so that my slope will get adjusted. Now, looking here, as you can see, this particular point is towards the left, hence I must decrement my slope. But as you can see here, what we have written, we have to add our slope. So only horizontal distance is not going to get mattered. We also need to measure vertical distance. Now, as you can see, vertical distance is always measured from point on a line to the green point. So point on a line is towards the low and green point here, as you can see, is above. We will calculate a positive distance from smaller number to larger number. So this distance would be positive in this case. Here in this case again point is above, so we have a positive distance. Whenever the point is below the line, this referenced line, our vertical distance would be negative. Now in this case also our vertical distance is again negative. So as you can see, whenever both distances are negative, we will add slope. As you can see, both distances are positive, we are adding slope. Here one distance is negative and another distance is positive, we decrement our slope. So basically, the multiplication of positive and negative will give me the correct sign of slope. If both distances are positive, that means we are referring a point in first quadrant. If both distances are negative, we are referring to the point in third quadrant. If one is positive, another is negative, it can be in second or fourth quadrant, but irrespective of that, our slope must get decremented. Hence, equation of my slope m is equals to m plus learning rate into horizontal distance into vertical distance. May, here remember that horizontal and vertical distance both will take care of sign. Whether it can be finally positive must get added into m or it should be negative get subtracted from m. Likewise, now let us look into intercept. Now, while our particular point is over the first or second quadrant, as you can see, its vertical distance is positive. So, in this case, our point is above the line. In the second case, also our point is above the line. So, only vertical distance will decide whether slope should be or y-intercept should be added or y-intercept y-intercept should get decremented. So in this case also point is below the line, y difference is negative. Here also we have negative y difference. So we will have formula of b, which is y-intercept, as b is equal to b plus learning rate into only vertical distance from line. Simple linear regression algorithm will take only these four steps, and accordingly to the design of vertical and horizontal distances, our slope and our y-intercept is going to get added and subtracted number of epochs times. So we have in total four different types of regression. First one is simple linear regression, which is equivalent to only one input variable and fitting a straight line to given data points. So this is an example of simple linear regression, which is represented as y is equal to b0, which is nothing but our y-intercept, into b1 into x1, where we have only one data input x1 and we have only one independent variable y. Simple linear regression. This simple linear regression can be represented or may support more than one dimension. That means we have more than one input points or independent variables. In this particular example, over this line we have x1, over this line we have x2 variable. So we have two input variables and accordingly we have one y output variable. So here, if we have data in this particular fashion, which is in three-dimensional fashion, instead of fitting a line, we are more interested in fitting one surface or a plane, which will depict the learning rate of data points. So by taking another dimension or another view from same data point, when we have one x1, over the another axis we have x2, and over y-axis we have this vertically, we can see the data points are getting represented by a simple plane, which is from the side view it looks like a line. So here our y-axis or equation of plane is given as b0 plus b1 into x1 plus b2 into x2 only. But let us assume if we have more than two variables, then I can find out the equation of line or a plane as can be extended up to xn for n input variables. So this particular thing is called as multiple linear regression, where we have more than one independent variable from which we have to find out the value of one dependent variable. Moving forward, we also have something called as polynomial regression. Since in our linear regression, our data is in a particular plane or a straight line or straight plane, but in polynomial regression our form of particular model is not linear. It may take value of degree 2, 3 and 4. Since polynomial equation for quadratic order looks like that, b0 plus b1 into x1 plus b2 x1 square. Here you can see we have only one input variable, but that variable is used twice. First time with order 1 and second time with degree 2 or order 2. Hence your complete equation would plot a graph of some this kind. So for example, your data is not clearly represented by some straight line. Say for example, it is in this form. So either fitting particular straight line, we are not getting a good close, we can go with second order polynomial. Now this polynomial regression can be of any degree. You can extend it up to n degree or k degree. If same data has to be represented with only one variable, that is nothing but x1 only, but here the order is nothing but up to 3. So equation of a line or a equation of a regression model is called as y is equal to b0 plus b1 x1 plus b2 x1 square plus b3 x1 cube. Likewise, we can have higher order polynomials also. So you can see the change in the waveforms or the representation of data also. Say this is the degree 6 and this is degree 7. So first peak, second peak, third peak, fourth peak, fifth peak and sixth peak. Likewise, while we are talking about 7, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth and seventh peaks are there. So this is how our polynomial regression works. Ultimately, we have one input variable, but that has to get fitted with respect to some degree of order of polynomial of an equation. Now moving forward, we have something called as logistic regression. Now, one thing must be clear that logistic regression is widely used for binary classification problem or dichotomous data output. For example, those problems whose output can be predicted from 0 or 1, yes or no, -1 or 1, those kind of classification problems can be addressed more correctly by logistic regression model. But since it is following or handling real values, we can also use this model to predict some real values. That means we can use in order to solve regression problems also. Now, what is the logistic function? Logistic function is given as ln of p divided by 1 minus p is equal to a plus bx. So here as you can see, logistic regression is using p variable, which is nothing but a probability of an event p. So this is the equation of logistic regression, which is given as y is equal to e raised to I can either write a plus bx, or I can write b0 plus b1x, whatever it could be, or 1 minus 1 plus e raised to b0 plus bx. Now, what is the property of this particular function? This particular function will always produces S-shaped curve. Now, this S-shaped curve will have one property, that when x is 0, that is at this location where x is 0, our value will be 0.5 at y location. So at x0, our value y will be at plus 5, and value of y will always ranges from 0 to 1 only. So value it will always produce from 0 to 1. So those problems for which we have output value which is other than 0 and 1 must be first get normalized between value to 0 to 1. Then only we can apply logistic regression function. Now here, as you can see, the simple equation of line is given by y beta b0 plus b1 x1, where x1 is my input variable, and same equation is represented e raised to same equation of line divided by 1 plus e raised to equation of line is called as logistic regression. And here, as you can see, value of y can maximum go up to 1, and from minimum it can go to 0. So y value it can only produce from 0 to 1 only. And here, as you can see, this logistic regression function is looking like this S-shaped curve. And this S-shaped curve or data which is, say for example, of this kind can be get fitted very easily. So if any line is having negative kind of slope or producing value which is negative for output, and we are not expecting any value to get negative in output, then only we can go with regression model. Now here one example is covered to understand. Over the x-axis we have time in months. Now this time is nothing but a study time a particular student or a person spends in order to prepare for some exam level, and this is nothing but mastery level or expertise of a particular student. And as I said, value at x is equal to 0, it gives y value to zero point 0.5. If I put x is 0 over here, it will give me value y. Now we have to fit or we have to move our this sigmoid function in such a way that our data will get fitted. So we will change the value of b0 and b1 such that this function will get shifted. Now here for some data it is giving our midpoint at x is equal to 6. So whenever a particular person or a student spend 6 months to study a particular topic, it is having medium mastery. That is the value of mastery level is 0.5. That is 50% of mastery level. So with x comma y 6 comma 0 0.5 we say within 6 months we can achieve average mastery level. For if as you can see this is the beginner mastery level, and the beginner is a person who spends lesser than 4 months of a time or less than 5 months of time. Now who are called as expert? So expert is nothing but reaching up to this peak point. So as you can see, any person who is spending more than 10 months of time is now called as an expert of that particular subject, the time for which it has been contributed to study it. What will happen if I'm going to fit a particular straight line in this way? So what will happen? Any person is having lesser than this particular value. So in this case, as you can see, mastery level is getting negative, which is not possible in any case. So any person who is giving lesser number of time or lesser number of any value for x, output should be always 0 instead of giving this negative sign. So it is better to use this logistic function while we are not expecting any value which should not be greater than or lesser than some threshold. That is nothing but putting up some boundary in output from range 1 to another, some intermediate values should get produced. So in that cases, we can go with logistic regression instead of simple linear, multiple linear or polynomial regression. Thank you for watching this video. In today's video, we have covered linear regression, how to fit a line, best fit using some set of points. We have seen how to change the slope and intercept of particular line. Along with, we have seen what do we mean by polynomial regression, multiple linear regression, and logistic regression. Thank you everyone for watching this video. This is Munira Topia signing out.